If you want to know what type of bolt to use, who are you going to call? If you want to know what design considerations were used in the olden days, who are you going to call? You can't call the Ghostbusters, but you can call the Steel Solution Center.
Most people know about the ability to call and ask steel questions, but they don't actually realize that they can get conceptual solutions at no cost to them.
What we do is provide studies for engineers, architects, contractors, anyone who's looking to possibly use structural steel in a building design.
Anyone can utilize the Steel Solution Center, or SSC for short, regardless of membership in the American Institute of Steel Construction.
We will take that original concept, and sometimes it's just the back of a napkin, and we will actually put together what we think is the most economical steel framing system for that location of the country and those construction trends that are happening possibly, say, in Denver, Colorado, or in Florida, or in the Northeast where you get de-icing salts being brought in by cars. But we think about the structure and how they can be best handled by the local labor force and the local fabrication community. So we'll put together a structural steel tonnage and a bill of materials and bring together a steel fabricator who's a member of AISC to put a cost and schedule to that.
In the past 13 years, 1 of every 2 projects that were undecided and utilized the SSC chose steel. The solutions team has answered more than 120,000 questions, with an average rate of 200 questions answered per week. And of the plethora of questions, a typical question is about painting.
Structural steel that is enclosed in a building envelope or in contact with fireproofing or concrete doesn't need to be prime painted. But traditionally in some areas of the industry there has been a tendency to always require that all steel be primed. And that in most cases isn't really necessary, doesn't do any particular good, and is an expense that just isn't warranted. And so there's been a number of occasions where someone on the project team called to find out whether or not they really needed to prime this steel. And in a number of cases they didn't, and that made the cost-benefit analysis of steel shift enough to make it worthwhile.
8 regional engineers funnel even more questions and projects to the Solutions Center with turnaround as short as a day. With new ventures on the way, the team is adapting their strategies to better serve the steel industry.
We're starting to work on some initiatives such as steel plate shear walls for non-seismic applications. We're starting to look at a niche project for government office buildings. So how do we handle blast and resistance for a type of prototypical structure that maybe somebody like the General Service Administration or the Department of Defense would look at putting up around the country. We're also looking at more resources for cost evaluation.
Whether it's a simple question, expansive prototype, or economical layout, the SSC will not just find a solution, but they're eager to do so.
I have access to experts in the field like Tom Murray, Geshwinder, and so being able to just pick up the phone and call them and being able to talk to them because I work at AISC is it's pretty neat.
There's always something new and interesting to learn. And that's the #1 thing that makes this entire industry interesting.
An excited team, a myriad of resources, and a series of new initiatives. If you have a steel question, who are you going to call?